Okay, I thought I would share with you today about sunflowers. So I like to save my own sunflower seed, and you can eat the sunflowers. We picked these, they've been in here for a couple of weeks drying. When you pick a sunflower, they're pretty wet in here. Now you can wait until they're dry in the field, but you risk the birds eating these. Birds love these guys. When you take these apart, it's really messy. There's all kinds of stuff. I put this white towel down here so you can see all the weird things. But the sunflower seed is pretty big, and a lot of the little stuff will sift through. So if you have a sifter, you can put these in a sifter and you can sift a lot of the junk out. But let's just taste this real quick and see where we're at with these guys. I like to let them dry inside of this flower here. It's tasting pretty good. So yummy. I love sunflowers. But there's all the little pieces and parts on here. So I had a couple of different varieties out here. Some of them are black, some of them are gray. And what I want to do with my particular breeding program, I'm mixing up all the different varieties. And I want to breed some great big ones. These two are pretty large size. See, this one is here, still soft, still gooey. If you don't have a fan blowing on these, they will mold and all these will rot on you. And so that's no good. You don't want them to rot. This is a variety that are pretty long. See those there? See how big and giant those are. And here, these are the more common sunflower size seed. Like if you bought a bag of sunflower seeds just to eat, this is the variety that they're going to be right here, if I can get a couple out to show you. Okay, so these are the normal sized ones right here. And these are these other ones that my friend Joseph Lofthouse has been breeding that are pretty big. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing them all up. I want to mix up all the seed and see if I can just make a landrace of a new variety that's growing here. That is funny. It has that great big hole, and the seed on the inside of that one is exactly the same size as the seed. That's so funny. Anyway, these are still a little wet. Before we take the seeds out of these, I'm just gonna let them completely dry out. When I run my finger across like this, they should be popping out. And when I bend this back like this, it should not be pliable. That's really pliable, like a piece of leather. This should just snap and crack. And these should be coming out, and they're not coming out. They're staying in there. So the moisture on these is way too high, and it makes it harder to get the seeds out. But I thought I'd make a video today because they're in this stage where it feels like you should be able to harvest them, but it's really hard to harvest them at this stage. Anyway, there's a bunch of them coming out here. And if I put these in a bag, if these were in plastic, they would rot. A lot of them may have enough moisture that they would sprout and try to grow. So that would be bad. So we want these to keep drying for a while. Here again, when you bend this, if it's pliable like that, like a piece of leather, way too wet. Let's look at this one. This one is even wetter, even more pliable. Let's look at this one. Okay, this one is pretty pliable, like a really stiff piece of leather. So they should get to a point where they're coming out. See, this one is much drier, and so those seeds are coming out a lot easier. so we can blow on that. Okay, so there's the seeds of that variety. This is a fun variety because this one had 4 or 5 heads that had big, viable, beautiful seeds in it. So I would like to grow and develop a landrace variety that has the great big heads with 4 or 5 heads on one plant. Don't know if it can be done, but I'm certainly going to try. I'm going to chase this variety here with the multiple head. It's good. It's not as flavorful as this other one, but it's good. So those ones are black, these long ones here, and then there's the gray ones. So I have those 3 different kinds. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty exciting. So this one, this one, this one, I think. I kind of got confused. Maybe not that one. But this one, for sure, this one's smaller, it may be dry. Oh yeah, see how that broke? That's what you're looking for. When they break like that, you know your moisture's getting down to where they need to be. Break it again, and then you can run your fingers across it and they just fall right out. So that's how you harvest these guys. These have a little bit of fuzz on them. I think it's maybe some mold in there. Hopefully that hasn't killed the seed. But these will mold and rot really easy if you don't have good airflow. So the best thing to do in a perfect world is to leave these outside in the sun until they are dry like this. But if you do that, since it's not a perfect world, birds will come along and they will eat a lot of these. Okay, so there's another set of these. These ones look the same as those. I'm gonna taste it. Yeah, nice and dry. We got a really good snap in that. Super good flavor. All right, so that's a good one there. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So anyway, this is almost ready to harvest. Yeah, see how this one's shelling out like that? Just run your finger on it and get all those seeds out just like that. There they are. So this is how you harvest the sunflower seeds. Let's taste this one and see. There's 4 or 5 of these that came off of one plant. But the heads were only that big around. I want the big 12-inch across one with 4 or 5 heads on a plant. So I'm going to breed for that. Good flavor. Okay, so some of these little ones, the only reason I saved the little one is because it had multiple heads on it. And it looked like it was going to have good viable seeds, so I saved them. I want to plant like a field of these. And when I say a field, I'm talking about like, you know, I'm not planting acres, just a big garden patch, like 50 feet wide by 80 feet long. But I'm going to mix all these seeds up, and hopefully they'll cross-pollinate. And then I can get the characteristic, the gene of the multiple seed heads and the big ones. And then then next year I'll only save seed from the plants that have multiple heads, and I'll save the biggest ones. And then every year I will plant good flavor, great flavor, good. So that's exciting. So every year I'm going to plant the seeds that I save, and when I'm saving them, I'm being very selective. I only want to save the seeds from a plant that has multiple heads and plants with the big heads. So I'm gonna look at my field really close at the end of the year when they're beautiful, big and beautiful and blooming, and it has the yellow flowers. I want to see if there's any plants that have one big head with multiple heads that have seeds in them too. If we do, that's what we start saving the seeds from. And every year we save it. Hopefully within 5 years we could have one plant out of a whole field that comes up and it has one big head, two big heads, 3, 4, 5, multiple big heads. And once that happens, we save the seeds from that one, we plant a whole field, and then we should be able to get an entire field of these sunflowers that have the characteristics we're looking for. So that's how you save the seeds, and then you just blow off the chaff, just like I showed you a minute ago. Just winnow it off. There, I blew all the junk out, and there it is. There's seeds right there, ready to go. You can eat these, or you can save them to plant them. You can feed them to your chickens, you can feed them to wild birds, but there's good sunflower seeds right there. Awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, hopefully this helped you have the very best garden of your life. I'm gonna ask you guys, tell all of your friends and family to sign up for my Patreon. This is growing, it's good. I'm getting a few new members every month, which is great. Please help me to be able to grow this so that I can keep doing this for years. I have years and years of content I can create to help you to have the best garden you've ever had. Thank you very much.